کانون هنرمندان صدای دانشگاه دامغان تقدیم می‌کند.
Hello dear friends, welcome back to Ancient Echoes podcasts. Today we're doing a special deep dive episode into the fascinating world of Kassite art, architecture, and cultural symbolism. Get comfortable, we've got a lot of amazing history to cover. Let's start with something monumental, Kassite architecture. You know what made their buildings so special? They essentially created a whole new architectural style by blending mountain building techniques with Babylonian urban architecture. The Kassites introduced some fascinating innovations in temple construction. For instance, at Dur-Kurigazlu, their capital city, they developed a unique ziggurat design. Unlike traditional Babylonian ziggurats, Kassite ones featured a distinctive double staircase system and incorporated more open spaces in their design. Pretty innovative for their time, right? They also pioneered new methods of fortification. The walls of Dur-Kurigazlu used a technique where they alternated layers of reed matting with brick courses, a method that proved remarkably earthquake resistance. Talk about ancient engineering. Now here where things get really interesting. Kassite religious art was like a visual encyclopedia of their belief system. On their kuduras, those boundary stones we mentioned earlier, each symbol had specific meaning. The crescent moon represented the god Sin. The solar disk was for the sun god Shuriash. The spade symbol stood for Marduk. The horned crown indicated divine authority. But here's something fascinating. They created a unique symbolic system where these divine symbols were arranged in specific orders, representing a kind of celestial hierarchy. It's like they created an ancient infographic system. The Kassites were absolute masters of metallurgy. They developed new techniques for working with gold and bronze, creating some of the most intricate jewelry of the ancient world. They were particularly famous for their horse bits and ceremonial weapons. Makes sense given their reputation as horse breeders, right? One particularly fascinating technique they developed was what archaeologists call zone melting, a method of creating different color metal alloys in the same piece. This technique wouldn't be seen again until the medieval period. Here's something mind-blowing. Many artistic elements we typically think of as Neo-Babylonian actually originated with the Kassites. For example, the use of glazed bricks in monumental architecture, the practice of depicting divine symbols in standardized arrangements, the tradition of royal inscriptions combined with religious imagery. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of Kassite art is how they managed cultural integrations. For instance, in their seal designs, they might use traditional Babylonian themes but execute them with distinctly Kassite artistic elements, like adding their characteristic border patterns or including their unique divine symbols. In religious ceremonies, they combined their traditional practices with Babylonian rituals. For instance, while adopting Babylonian gods, they maintained their own deities and religious symbols. Unfortunately, some aspects of Kassite artistry are known to us only through textual references. We know they had a unique style of musical composition, distinctive textile patterns, special techniques for working with precious stones. Imagine what other artistic treasures we might discover as archaeologists continue to explore Kassite sites. Before we wrap up, let's talk about legacy. The Kassite period might have ended over 3,000 years ago, but their artistic innovations lived on. Their techniques for working with metals influenced craftspeople for generations, and their architectural innovations can be traced through later Mesopotamian buildings. Well, friends, that's our deep dive into the artistic world of the Kassites. I hope this has given you a new appreciation for these ancient innovators. Remember, every piece of art tells a story, and the Kassites were master storytellers through their craft. If you enjoyed this extended look at Kassite artistry, don't forget to share this podcast with fellow history enthusiasts. Next time, we'll be exploring, well, that's another story for another day. Until then, keep exploring history. Goodbye.